Hey guys, it's Francis again for another Freight Options Incorporated blog. And today there are a couple of things we want to talk about. First of all, I'd like to mention that I've posted the rough draft of what I want to say, of the video I'm going to make regarding the import permit requirements. I posted what I might say on Tumblr. I posted like the general requirements there, as many of the documentary requirements as I can find and remember, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what I can do with it. Hopefully, I can condense it into something that anyone can understand, and hopefully, it's something that people who will just be watching the video for the first time. Importers who decide to want to import something new. I hope it's something that they can understand. Casual people, non-industry people. Those are the people that I want to address this video to. Admittedly, the post itself is very technical. It's very listy. There's a lot of lists of documents that will be discussed in that post, but I do hope that when I make a video, it'll be condensed. It'll be easier to understand. The second thing I want to talk about is what happened today. So today is the 17th of January 2018. Overall, it's been a really bad day. There have been several things that I had to experience today, such as deadlines that weren't met. So we didn't meet some deadlines. We weren't able to submit requirements required by the government for certain permits that we have to do, and so it's kind of an annoying and slow day because of some oversight. Admittedly, I am part of the blame, but it's still annoying if you had assigned it to someone, delegated the responsibility to someone, and that someone did not deliver. So it's sad, but it's a reality, and I just have to solve it from then on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to solve it tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow we will have an answer as to what else we need in order to get our certificates, and hopefully by the end of the month we'll have everything we need to function as a proper freight forwarder here in the Philippines. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is I wanted to react to a new announcement by the Bureau of Customs. See, these are great, right? So every time that I make a post, there's another announcement by the Bureau of Customs, which will slightly or substantially change rules of how we process documents with the BOC. This particular announcement has nothing to do with the importation process, but it has something to do with the accreditation of importers and brokers. So if you don't mind, I'll just read out the announcement that was posted on the official Bureau of Customs Facebook page. And for a lot of the things a lot of the news that happens in the Bureau of Customs, I depend on this Facebook page because more often than not, they're very accurate and they're very dependable with regard to announcements. But to be honest, I still don't have the CMO for this particular rule change. I'm looking for it. So as much as I want to say this is official, until I see the CMO, just take this video with a grain of salt. I just want to react to it because it's kind of, I don't feel like they thought to this announcement through. Anyway, let me read it first before I react. So, the Bureau of Customs PH Facebook page posts that the BOC amends rules on importers and brokers accreditation. So, it says, in a bid to eradicate consignees for hire and fly-by-night importers and brokers, the Bureau of Customs chief has now the sole authority to approve or disapprove the accreditation of importers and brokers. As a little background, currently, or until this CMO was released, the approval to approve or disapprove is made by the Account Management Office, which you will see on my post. They are the ones who decide whether or not to approve an application form or for an importer to have the permit to import. Now, they're going to add the requirement that the Bureau of Customs chief, the head of the Bureau of Customs, will be the only one to approve and disapprove the accreditation of importers and exporters. At least that's how I understood this announcement. Until I see the CMO, there is no official word, but that's how I understood it. Continuing, in a new memorandum dated January 11, the application for accreditation, suspension, revocation, cancellation, and reactivation of importers and customs brokers accreditation are all subject to the approval of the Commissioner upon recommendation by the Accounts Management Office, or the AMO. So, that's the short announcement. There's an extended announcement on the post. So, it says that for importers and customs brokers with disapproved application, they can file a request for reconsideration to the Chief of AMO based on CMO 02 2018. Also, maybe this is the CMO. We'll see. I'll research this. Previously, the Customs Memorandum Order, sorry, that's what CMO meant, the Customs Memorandum Order, CMO 04 2014, states that the Chief of the Account Management Office has the power to approve the accreditation, while the Deputy Commissioner of the Revenue of the Collection of Monitoring Group is in charge of suspension, revocation, and cancellation of the BOC stakeholders' accreditation. So the Commissioner said that he will check the validity of the documents submitted by the importers and brokers to ensure that only legitimate traders are transacting with the Bureau. Meanwhile, in a separate memorandum, the Bureau of Customs has limited the number of authorized representatives of a customs broker transacting with the Bureau of Customs. So, to safeguard the interest of the government and to ensure accountability of customs brokers are required to submit to AMO, to Accounts Management Office, the names of 3 authorized representatives assigned to each port. Authorized representatives are processors who act on behalf of the customs broker to transact with the BOC. The Bureau, upon approval of the Commissioner, may allow additional authorized representatives depending on the customs broker's volume of transaction. This is in line with the implementation of CMO 11/2014 for guidelines for registration of importers and customs brokers with the Bureau of Customs. So the Bureau, the current chief, Commissioner La Peña, has repeatedly called on importers and brokers to stop their illegal practices and abide by the law. So what they will do is they will revoke accreditation of the erring importers and brokers if that's the only way to stop them, he says. So I'm just gonna make a little reaction on this. First of all, this means that all importers and brokers, apart from the permit granted by the CMO, now have to have the approval, sorry, not the CMO, apart from the approval by the AMO, the Accounts Management Office, now have to have the approval by the Chief of the Bureau of Customs itself. And while this is great, this is an okay news, this means that there's going to be a secondary check to the validity of the importers and exporters. I hope this doesn't mean that to get an import permit, you'll need another 3 months because of the backlog of checks that the Office of the Chief Commissioner will go through because of all the volume of companies who want to get an import permit. I hope. I will still see, but based on previous experiences, this may cause more delays in the securing of an import permit, making it harder for importers to register, and it's overall bad. What I feel like is another step, a redundant step to what's already being implemented now. The purpose is great, don't get me wrong on that. It's just that I hope the execution of this will not cause more delays to already importers who are having, a hard time getting import permits. Okay, number two, apparently this new CMO also will limit the amount of processors who can process for a particular broker. Now, this may be a problem for a lot of brokers who have several companies or who are servicing several companies, because this means that before they're allowed to have more than 3 processors per port, they will need the approval again of the commissioner, which may or may not, I don't know, depending on how they execute it, may or may not take a long time to get the approval. This means there will be now a big limit as to who the processors will be per broker, which I will assume this will be a problem especially for those brokers who service a lot of different clients. However, this is also consistent with the line of the Bureau to remove brokers in general from the experience of importation. So while it may be detrimental to us as forwarders, as service providers, as one-stop shop companies, I understand that they're trying to do this in order to curb any corruption that happens in the Bureau. Corruption happens because sometimes the brokers will just assign any person, just any guy off the street, to process for them, and they will just get a certain commission or a certain fee just to sign a document that they are the broker. So they have millions of, or not millions, but like 100 processors maybe, or tens of processors processing several documents, and all they have to do is sign and they'll get some sort of cut from the process. Not really screening, not really limiting or regulating the people who are importing or who are importing on their behalf. So most of the time, because of the number of processors that and shipments that each broker has to sign, they don't really screen their clients anymore. They just want to get the money, and then they release based on whatever is paid to them. So I understand the purpose of this CMO. Now the question is, so does that mean we need an extra set of brokers now that we have to hire our own brokers now? Or does that mean that we don't need to hire brokers at all? Because now Customs is really encouraging that no brokers be used in the process of import release or customs release. I don't know. So that's just my little reaction. To be honest, my personal take on it is I understand the purpose of the law, but I hope, again, like in the previous video, I think this might cause delays again, which I don't like anymore, because we have so many delays already. The Philippines, the system is always down. God knows what else. So I'm not a fan of this CMO. I see the point, but I'm not a fan. Hopefully their execution is much better than what's being written in the CMO, and hopefully no delays happen. And we'll see. I'll make maybe another reaction video after, when we've gone through all of the processes, and I'll give a little rating as to whether the CMO will work. And if I read correctly, which I will be reading again, I guess this is the CMO 02 2018. So we'll see. So until then, that's all for tonight, and good night, everyone.